This is the Keep Your Fire Burning segment of Ignite Success, and I'm your host, Snowden McFall, 25-year professional speaker, 6-time author, and coach. The holidays are coming, and one of the things that some of your guests, and in fact even maybe you are dealing with, is grief. Over the last 3 weeks, I've had 5 people in my life pass away. And grief is a very tough emotion. It's unlike any of the other emotions that are painful, like anger and sorrow and resentment, because it's very distinctive and individual in nature, and it keeps showing up in various different ways throughout your life. My mother passed away when I was quite young, after being terminally ill and in and out of the hospital for 15 years. And even now, decades later after her death, there are times when I'm looking through my recipe book and I'll go to pick up the phone to call her to ask her a question. And then there's a wave of grief that hits. And with the people who've passed away recently, while for some of them it was a great blessing because they were in severe pain or gravely ill, it still hurts on the physical level. And I still miss them, and memories of them will show up at different times and have an impact on me, and I can be brought to tears. And that's what the people that are dealing with in your life who may have suffered a loss recently. There are so many different ways to deal with grief and handle it, but most people don't really know what to do for someone who is grieving. You know, they say the 5 steps of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But actually, those steps were formulated for people who knew that they were going to die, who were told that they had a terminal illness or that they had a very short life expectancy due to some injury or sickness. For most people, the way that they deal with grief varies dramatically. Some people become very silent and withdrawn. Other people cry a great deal. And lots of people around them don't know what to do. So here are a few steps to help you deal with someone who is grieving. The first one is just to acknowledge their grief and be there for them and say something like, "I'm really sorry for your loss." Don't try and elaborate. Don't try and say, "I know what you're going through," because you don't. Everybody deals with it differently, and you don't know what relationship they had with that person. But just say something along the lines of, "I'm here for you. Anything I can do for you. I love you." Those are really important words to someone who's grieving. Listen to them and allow them to talk about their loved one. Lots of people are afraid to bring up the person's name who's passed away, and yet their person is very fresh in the minds and hearts of the person who's left behind. So talk to them about your memories. Share funny stories and happy times and memories of good times that all of you had together. That will bring joy to the person. And it's a great comfort to them to have someone to talk to who is willing to say the deceased name and to share about that person. Don't impose your views on the other person. Your views of what happens after death, your views of how they should be living their life, or what they should be doing, that's not your decision, that's theirs. And everybody deals with grief differently. Just be there for the person. Check in with them regularly. If they want to cry, you can sit there and hold their hands and give them Kleenex. And hold them, give them a shoulder to cry on. If they want to rage about the injustice of it, let them do that. Be a sounding board for them. Just be there for them. Anticipate their needs. You know, with the holidays coming up, it's going to be particularly hard. I was talking to someone this morning who has a very dear friend who lost their son this year, and this is the first holiday without their son. And so that's bringing up a lot of emotions. So just acknowledge to the person that you know that this is a tough time, and reach out to them and offer to spend time with them. Anticipate what their needs might be. Bring them a casserole, bring them food, walk their animals. Just do everyday things for them that will help them get through and cope. And if it's a very fresh or recent death, there may be things that you can assist with in terms of planning the memorial service or helping deal with all the 1,000,001 details or even notifications to others of that person's death. If you yourself are the person who's grieving, a few tips from psychologists for helping you recover are to take quiet time for yourself every day. Sacred time, where you can cry, you can write out your thoughts, you can journal, you can spend time in prayer and meditation. You can just share your memories inside of yourself. You can look through photo albums. Take sacred, quiet time for yourself every day. Writing down your thoughts and feelings is very important and valid. Accepting that you feel the way you feel and giving yourself permission to cry, to be angry, to laugh, and get counseling if you need to. There are many, many grief counselors, and it will help you get through these periods. No matter what you've been through, there are other people out there who love you and who can help you. And if you have a dear loved one who's gone through a loss recently, just offer to be there, because that's the best way you can help keep their fire burning.